Good evening, you're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. Here are the headlines for tonight. Malaysia and Singapore discuss SARAWAK'S plan to export electricity via an undersea cable in a meeting involving the Prime Minister, his Singaporean counterpart and the Sarawak Premier. MCMC processed 4,699 content removal requests this year, 72% on online gambling and 14% on scams. Powerful earthquake in Tibet claims at least 95 lives, leaving many injured and trapped. Premier Sarawak Dato' Paningiran Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg attended the 11th Malaysia-Singapore Leaders Retreat meeting held at the Perdana Putra Complex in Putrajaya on Tuesday. The meeting was chaired by Prime Minister Dato' Seri Anwar Ibrahim and attended by Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong.
The Malaysian delegation included Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof, Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan, Education Minister Fadilah Siddiq, Higher Education Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir, Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Law and Institutional Reform Datuk Seri Azalina Othman Said, and Johor Chief Minister Datuk On Hafiz Ghazi. After the meeting, Abang Johari and other delegates joined a joint press conference by the government leaders before witnessing the signing of the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone Agreement. In addition, 6 memorandums of understanding (MOUs) and 1 letter of intent (LOI) were signed, covering areas such as education, women and social welfare, climate change, carbon capture and storage, urban development, and efforts to combat cross-border crimes. Abang Johari later joined a luncheon with the Malaysian and Singaporean government delegations before holding a private meeting with Anwar in the afternoon. The Premier, who will be in the capital until January 9th, is also scheduled to attend the Malaysia Economic Forum on Thursday.
Sarawak's plan to export electricity via an undersea cable to Singapore was one of the topics discussed during the meeting between Malaysian and Singaporean leaders on Tuesday. Prime Minister Dato' Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the discussion involved himself, his Singaporean counterpart Lawrence Wong, and Sarawak Premier Dato' Paningiran Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg.
We explored the, suggestion, particularly by Sarawak government, on the export of energy using the undersea cable through Semenanjung to Singapore, or alternatively other measures which would require the understanding of our other neighbours. We also discussed the issue of Flight Information Region, FIR, recognizing the needs of Malaysia in terms of its connectivity with Sabah Sarawak.
He said this during a press conference after the Malaysia-Singapore Leaders Retreat meeting at Perdana Putra Complex in Putrajaya on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Wong described the discussions on green energy and sustainability cooperation, including cross-border electricity trade, as having made significant progress.
There are some projects that we are discussing, both coming through Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, as well as from Sarawak, and we are fully committed to realizing the ASEAN power grid.
The Kuala Lumpur-Singapore High-Speed Rail (HSR) project will only be implemented if there is a participation from the private sector. Prime Minister Dato' Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the decision was made due to the current limitations in government finance.
We have put the issue of poverty alleviation, flood mitigation, issue of basic infrastructure, education and public health as our priority, at least for the next 1 or 2 years. So the mega projects are going to be deferred, primarily because of this commitment to settling some of the outstanding issues dealing with the basic infrastructure and education and health and issues of poverty. But we are still waiting for some promising and positive contribution or participation by the private sector to proceed when necessary.
He added that the government is focusing on addressing more pressing issues affecting the people. In July last year, Transport Minister Anthony Loke stated that negotiations with Singapore on the HSR could only begin after the Cabinet makes a policy decision. The government had revealed that the project would cost up to 100 billion ringgit.
The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) has processed 4,699 content removal requests related to online gambling and scams as of January 1st this year. From that figures, Communication Minister Fahmi Fadzil said 72% concerning online gambling and 14% related to scams.
Sebanyak 4,699 kandungan telah dipohon sejak 1 Januari hingga ke hari ini. 72% daripada jumlah tersebut berkait isu perjudian dalam talian. 14% melibatkan isu scam. Jadi kedua-dua ni dah 86% daripada semua kandungan yang diminta untuk diturunkan.
He highlighted the government's proactive approach to combating emerging threats such as scams using manipulated videos and images, commonly referred as to deepfakes, which are generated by artificial intelligence AI technology. As part of these efforts, amendments to the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998, passed in December last year, have strengthened the legal framework to address such issues.
Mamalah ibu, bapa, cikgu, kawan baik dan segalanya untuk saya. Hanya kita berdua. Tiba-tiba, dia muncul dalam hidup kita. Macam mana dengan saya?
Welcome back. At least 7 newborns died from hypothermia in Gaza in December, with many more at risk. World Health Organization (WHO) Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, in a post on X, stated that every child deserves to begin a life healthy and safe. But children in Gaza are paying the price of war with their lives. Local health authorities reported that the death toll from Israeli attacks in Gaza has now exceeded 45,800. A devastating earthquake has claimed the lives of at least 95 people in Tibet, China, with many others reported injured and trapped. According to Chinese officials, the earthquake struck at 9:05 a.m. local time on Tuesday at a depth of 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles.
The China Earthquake Network Center recorded a magnitude of 6.8, while the United States Geological Survey reported it as a 7.1. The official Xinhua news agency, citing the Regional Disaster Relief Headquarters, reported that 130 people were injured as dozens of aftershocks continue to shake the region, affecting both Western China and neighboring Nepal. Earlier reports from Xinhua stated that 53 people had been killed and 62 injured, but the death toll quickly rose as rescue efforts intensified. The Ministry of Emergency Management deployed approximately 1,500 firefighters and rescue workers to search for survivors amid the rubble.
China accuses the U.S. of the unreasonable suppression of Chinese enterprises. China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiakun said the accuse made after the U.S. Defense Department added tech giant Tencent and battery manufacturer KTL to a list of companies it says are affiliated with Beijing's military.
中方一贯坚决反对 美方泛化国家安全概念，划设各类名目的歧视性清单，无理打压中国企业，遏制中国高质量发展。中国人民的发展权利不可剥夺，不容无视。我们敦促美方立即纠正错误做法，立即解除对中国企业的非法单边制裁
He added the U.S. Defense Department's list does not have direct legal implications for the companies in question, but can affect their reputations, and listed firms have sued over their inclusion in the past. Tencent is one of the top players in China's expansive technology sector, operating the WeChat super app with other offerings across gaming, content streaming, and cloud services. CATL is also a major firm, producing more than a third of the electric vehicle batteries sold in the world.
France issued a warning to its citizens, urging them to avoid travel to Iran until the release of French nationals held there. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot described the detention of these individuals as unacceptable, emphasizing that they have been held in unworthy conditions for years.
Ce que le président de la République a dit, c'est qu'il appartient aux Ukrainiens de choisir le moment et les conditions de négociation de paix. Et que, dans ce contexte, chacun, et au sein des pays, de la communauté des pays qui soutiennent l'Ukraine, devra jouer son rôle. Le rôle des États-Unis aujourd'hui, c'est certainement de continuer à soutenir l'Ukraine comme ils l'ont fait depuis le début de cette guerre d'agression.
Cécile Kohler and her partner Jacques Paris have been imprisoned since May 2022 on espionage charges, while another individual, identified only as Olivier, has been detained since October 2022. Details of his case have not been disclosed. Barrot stressed that the French government has not forgotten about the detainees. He also criticized the Iranian authorities, saying that despite diplomatic efforts following the election of President Masoud Pezeshkian, the situation has worsened. Until the hostages are freed, Barrot urged all French nationals to refrain from traveling to Iran. See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvsarawak.my or follow us on our social media platforms at TV Sarawak. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.